Hello, everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, FLEA Market Fantasy. I am your co-host, Mike L., and as always, I'm joined by...
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That's right, and we are at episode 66, which is not quite the number of the beast, but it's close enough for me, so I decided to review the very first appearance of the Beast in his furry blue form.
Well... Not quite, Michael. It's his furry gray form.
Oh, right. Yes. Good point. I'm glad you pointed that out because, it's like something I completely... I don't know. I just didn't realize that. But, yeah, he was gray. Just like the Hulk was gray in his first appearance, right?
Yep.
Kind of weird.
So, now the reason he was gray, the Hulk was gray, wasn't it just like coloring goof or like they couldn't make green or gray was easier or something like that? Or?
They basically... I think Stan Lee said that every panel he looked a different shade of gray. And they couldn't keep it consistent, so by the second issue, they're like, screw it, just make him green.
Oh, okay. Because there's still no real reason why Beast goes from gray to blue. No one's really sure. We'll get into it in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, Beast. Hank McCoy.
Yep.
Of X-Men fame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess his name's Henry, but I call him Hank. You know, we're buddies. One of the original X-Men, Michael. Who were the original X-Men? Rattle
Easy.
them off. Go ahead.
Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. And Professor X, if you count him.
And who is your favorite of that group?
I would say...
Lame.
I love them all, and my favorite is Cyclops.
Oh, he was always such a punk, Cyclops.
I loved him. I still love him.
I would say, personality-wise, they're all pretty terrible. But power-wise, Iceman was the coolest, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm attached to Iceman because he was in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, right?
Oh, that's right,
so, yeah. I grew up
Firestar.
Yeah. Yes, in love with her.
So, Hank McCoy, Beast, his first appearance was X-Men #1, and he was, of course, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And then his final appearance in the X-Men was X-Men 66, because that's the final new issue, and then they did the reprints, right?
What a coincidence, 66 again.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think of
that.
Yeah, so that was like, because X-Men, it wasn't selling so well, so they started doing the reprints.
Right.
And then it wasn't until the Giant X-Men #1.
Giant size X-Men, yeah.
Yeah, where they brought the new team in, and the cool X-Men came in. It was so much better.
In a way. I still love the originals because when I was a kid, I actually read X Factor more than X-Men. So I've always been attached to the original 5 members for sure.
Oh, well, that's just ridiculous that you're reading because X Factor was okay, but it wasn't as good as the X-Men was back then.
I think, to be honest, by the time we got to when I first really got into Marvel, it was around Fall of the Mutants. And I think at that point, I actually think X-Men was better than X-Men at that point.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. I might be... okay, Fall of the Mutants. Okay, I'm confusing that with Mutant Massacre.
Which was... Oh, you know what? We might have to do a little comparison coming up soon. You'll see.
Listen, the X Factor was really good then during the Mutant Massacre because you had Walt and Louise Simonson on the book at that point.
Right.
So it was really good. But that was... heyday. That was like, top tier X-Men at that point. So
we'll do a revisit one of these days. We'll see.
Right. Anyway, so the Beast in this issue, we're talking about Amazing Adventures 11. Did you say that?
Yep.
I'm sure you said that.
I don't know. I actually didn't mention that yet. Yeah. It's Amazing Adventures, which technically we've already reviewed because we did the Inhumans. That was also Amazing Adventures, right?
No, it wasn't. And this is what confused me. Okay. This is what confused me. Because when you were giving me the clues for what it was, you said, we've already done this book. And I was like, Marvel team up? Or because that Inhumans we did, technically it was Inhumans, the series, like issue 9. But I think they did reprints of Amazing. So
right.
Technically, but that's why I was so confused. I was like, well, that was a terrible clue he gave.
Oh, you're right. Because Inhumans #9 was a reprint of Amazing Adventures #1. That's what it was. Gotcha.
1 and 2, I think. They combined the two
Right,
books.
you're right. Yes, you're right. Okay.
But anyway,
okay.
So that explains that. But this book here, Amazing Adventures #11, what year is this? Is it 72 or is it 70? I can't... Oh, do you know?
Let me see. see.
This is the kind of thing we should know because we're doing
yeah,
a podcast
19,
about
71. 71. Actually, it says March 72.
Oh, okay, March 72.
Yeah.
All right, because I had 72 written down on my notes, but I was like, hey, is that right? That might be 70. All right. So March of 72. Now, this is the Amazing Adventures we're discussing today. This is the second volume. The first volume was published in 1961, and it lasted for 6 issues. Volume 2 started in 1970, and it lasted 39 issues. And then they had a Volume 3 that started in 1979, and that lasted 14 issues.
Interesting.
So 3 strikes and you're out. You're done, Amazing Adventures. No more nonsense. Beast is Headlines, Volume 2, issues 11 to 17.
Yep.
With, I believe 17 is a reprint of like his early adventures with the X-Men.
Ah, okay.
So the
I
original,
think I've read that, yeah.
So the only original Beast stuff is 11 through 16, and it totally reinvents the character, and he becomes furry, but he's gray here in the early stages. Gerry Conway is the writer here, and Tom Sutton is the artist. We'll talk about him later. But Gerry Conway only wrote issue 11, the one we're doing today.
Right.
And then Steve Englehart took over the other Beast issues to finish the run. And before this appearance, like we mentioned, Beast had last appeared in X-Men 66 in 1970. Oh, so there's the 1970. That's why that was in my head. Okay. But also he appeared in. Oh wait, no, I'm jumping ahead. Forgive me. So yeah, this was the first issue that he appeared in since that X-Men. Now, do you know who his idea was to kind of reboot Hank McCoy and make him furry?
I'm gonna guess. Okay, I'm just gonna guess here. Could it have been Roy the Boy Thomas?
That is correct. It's Roy Thomas.
Of course.
Again, everything that happened in the 70s in Marvel is basically they're due to Roy Thomas.
Right. And no one, and I was thinking about this today. Stan Lee is a household name, but not only do people not really know Jack Kirby, nobody knows Roy Thomas, but he really does deserve credit for a lot of this stuff, right?
Don't you think it's because Stan Lee, when he was writing, was a better writer than Roy Thomas?
Oh, yes. There's no doubt about that. I'm just saying that, like, if you like 70s Marvel, you basically have to say you like Roy Thomas because he was the main man, right?
Yeah, he's clearly a comic book genius, this Roy Thomas.
Yep.
Nothing but ideas. There is no off position on the genius switch, Michael.
Right.
He's always thinking.
Right.
He's always thinking, that Roy Thomas. But yeah, his idea was just to make him, try and make him like actually more like a wolf, kind of like a Werewolf by Night, because they were having success with Werewolf by Night, which we reviewed here on the show a few weeks back. And he said, let's make him more like that, turns into like a Wolfman kind of deal. So now I don't know who designed the Beast. I guess would it be Tom Sutton doing the design of him, the redesign?
That's a good question, but I think around this time, a lot of these characters were just designed by like John Romita or John Buscema or one of the bigger guys. Like it could have been Gil Kane because he did the cover, right? So I don't really know who designed the fur. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, because when we think of furry Beast, Michael, he's got a distinctive haircut,
Well, and sadly, it's almost exactly the same as Wolverine's, which I never liked, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Wolverine or Scarlet Witch's headdress. It's
right,
or even kind of thing.
There's another one, the owl, the Daredevil villain, the owl. He looks almost exactly like Wolverine. He even has the claws. It's like kind of ruins him, makes him less unique.
And then, of course, the Beast's appearance would change over the years, but we'll get to that in a minute. So he started out with gray fur,
right,
in this issue, as we mentioned, and now in the rest of this run, he's kind of later he gets depicted where it almost looks like traditional blue Beast, but in the text of the articles or the issue, it's referred to him having black hair.
Really?
And it's the whole black in comic books how they always highlight black with blue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, why do they do that, Michael? Do you know a reason for that?
Well, I don't know, but I think it's just because you can't really. I mean, your only choices would be white, right? Because if something is black in real life, the highlights are usually white, but maybe that doesn't read as well, and so. From the very beginning, they've always used blue. Like even apparently Steve Ditko said that Spider-Man's original costume is red and black, not red and blue. So it's just that the highlights over time became the most prominent part. And so now people think of Spider-Man as red and blue.
So I'm guessing the same thing happened here with Beast.
Yep.
So he wasn't, after this 6-issue run, he wasn't seen again until Captain America issues 174 and 175. And he and a bunch of other mutants were kidnapped by some evil dude, and he was going to do experiments and something. So Captain America had to team up with like Cyclops and Marvel Girl and Xavier to free him. And he was depicted as a more grayish blue, but not quite blue yet. And then his first time he was depicted as a blue furry beast was Avengers 137 in 1975. And I think that's when he joined the team, right?
You know what's interesting is we're not going to reveal the format in which we read these comics, but I'll just say for the record that number 11 that we read is clearly scanned from the original comic, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm skipping ahead, and if you look at Amazing Adventures number 14, he looks grayish blue. If you look at number 15, inside he's dark blue. And then 16, if you look on the cover, he's gray, but inside he is like blue. So I think he just got bluer as they went. But here's the thing is these issues are definitely recolors. So it's possible that they fixed the original color in like, the Masterworks or whatever. But if you're looking at this original number 11 here that we've got, this is the original colors, and he's definitely gray. So,
and, yeah, when he shows up in Avengers to join the team in 137, he looks like traditional Blue Beast that we're familiar with.
Cyan blue.
But they don't say that he has blue fur in any of the issues until Avengers Annual 6 in 1976, where they finally make reference to him having blue fur.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's interesting. So who knows why they went from gray to blue, but that's why. Steve Englehart was the one who brought Beast to the Avengers because he enjoyed writing him so much on this Amazing Adventures run, and he liked having his wit and sense of humor on the team as a counterpoint to the more serious Moondragon. Moondragon. And then Beast and Wonder Man became good buddies, and they had some madcap adventures, those two.
See, I personally don't like X-Men being in the Avengers. I'd rather just keep them separate,
Yeah, I hear you. But Beast was a good Avenger, though, I think, in the 70s. That was nice. But here's something I stumbled across doing research. Have you ever heard of a website called IGN, like in video games? And
of course, I've heard of it, yeah. Yep.
All right, so they did some lists over the years, and one of their lists was top whatever X-Men, like 50 X-Men or whatever. And they ranked Beast number 9, which that seems, I guess that's about right. I don't know.
Sure.
I'd have to think. But then they did a list of the 50 best Avengers, and they listed Beast at 7.
That's ridiculous.
And I know. I was like, what the? So I had to look up the list, and the list is preposterous. They have like, their top Avenger is Thor. Well, first of all, your top Avenger always has to be Captain America, period.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 1. Thor should be further down the list because a lot of times he's over in Asgard doing his thing. He doesn't even care about the Avengers.
Right.
But Beast at 7, I thought, well, that's absurd. But then I saw they had Spider-Man and Wolverine at like 6 and 5.
Ridiculous.
So it's like, give me a break.
Right.
What is going on? Yeah, so like Beast is a good Avenger, but he would be like maybe in the teens somewhere.
Yeah, he's like second tier because he's not a founder. He's not one of the most prominent ones,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's no way he would be ranked higher in the Avengers than in the X-Men. That's absurd.
Right.
So, all right. Anyway, just had to get that off my chest. Sorry,
All right,
that's Beast. What else about the Beast, Michael? Anything we're missing about him?
Well, I can only say that when the original X-Men were put back together for X Factor in 1985, I think it was, or 86, Jim Shooter wanted them to look like the original members, and so I think by number 2 or 3, the Beast was defurred. Do you remember that?
Wasn't it right out of the gate? Or
no, because on the cover, I don't think so. On the cover of number 1, I'm gonna have to look it up, but I think he still had the fur.
Huh.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
I was thinking he was always furless at X Factor.
No. He was... Okay, let me just double check. It's just waiting for Google to submit it, and this is taking forever.
This is the... Mike L still has his 2400 modem.
Yeah. Okay, so he's blue and furry on the cover of number 1. Okay. And then by the time you get to number... 2, he's not on number 2. The people appreciate this at home, I hope. You know?
Yeah. Shows you all the research we do ahead of the show.
Right.
To Google things on the show. But, all right, so between issues 1 and 2, he apparently fell into a bathtub of Nair and just lost all his hair.
Yeah, basically. But the thing is, though, is that, okay, so number 4. Number 4 is where he goes back to being the human Hank McCoy. But here's the crazy thing. I believe it was number 33. He goes back again to being the bluey, furry beast.
Yeah, because let's face it, Beast is way more interesting when he's furry.
This is true. He's more unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know how far your research went, but did you get to the point where he changes yet again by Grant Morrison?
Yeah, this is what I wanted to mention, because his appearance does change over the years. And he he mutates again, Michael, right? Now, why does he do that? Because of a experiment or?
No, it's called, what was it called? Second mutation or something. Secondary mutation.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, so Beast turned into like more of like a feral type creature with like, you know,
like a
knees
cat.
that bent like a cat, like a lion. And then that's where Emma Frost got her diamond skin, right?
Yeah, how do you feel about all that?
I love it. I mean, I love Grant Morrison. I think,
right.
Yeah, I love all that stuff.
Who was the artist doing all that? The Lion Beast?
Frank Quitely, my favorite modern artist. Yep.
Oh my goodness, that is absurd. All right. But anyway.
Absolutely. He's the best.
But then didn't he change again after that? Like,
no, I'm surprised Marvel's actually kept him the same ever since then.
I think he went away from the feline stuff though, didn't he?
No, he's even if like, I think some artists draw him like without the backward bending knees, but other than that, I think he still looks feral. Yep. Like,
well, I think the problem is there's like 50 different versions of X-Men these days. Like there's so many different titles, and I think different artists draw them different ways. But when I was reading, it seems like they did away with the feline stuff a bit. And there's even a period where he's more like a human, but just blue and furry. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then one guy kind of drew him like a horse for a little bit, but it was just maybe one cartoon or one thing, but I don't know.
I also have to say for the record that when you see the Beast in live action, like, did you ever see X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men First Class?
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer.
He looks idiotic with blue. Like that shade of blue. The thing about that shade of blue is there's no animal on Earth other than maybe a peacock that has that shade of blue in any natural fur, right? So at least gray looks something like an animal, whereas that bright cyan blue just doesn't look natural to me. So I don't like it. These things are
Kelsey
important.
Grammer is one of the only good things in those movies.
True. He was
so
good.
Terrible. All right. So that's The Beast, Amazing Adventures 11. Are we ready to talk about the book, Micah?
Sure.
Oh, well, I guess we should say what the Beast powers are, right? I mean,
sure, might as well. Oh, did we talk about Tom Sutton? We can talk about him later.
We'll get into him after. We'll do it after. But originally, the Beast was just like a dude with like big feet and big hands.
Right.
Kind of looking like a gorilla. And he was strong like a monkey and could jump around like a monkey. And that was basically it, right?
Yep.
But he's also really, really smart. And like during the X Factor days, Miguel, when he went back to his human form, there was a period where he was dumb.
Are you mansplaining X Factor to me?
He lost his genius IQ.
Yes, that's true.
So
and
that
remember,
was pretty good.
Yeah, it was also cool because that's also, remember when he got his second X Factor costume, where instead of blue and red, it was, I think, orange and brown.
Yeah, it was like brownish and something like, I was thinking yellow, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe yellow and orangish or yellow and reddish. But anyway, it was really cool.
Yeah, so that was basically his powers, just being like an athletic monkey, but he's really smart. So then when he gets in this issue though, we see he gets different powers. We'll talk about maybe when we get in there.
Sure.
Like there's a couple powers he has in this that he doesn't normally have. But, or at least one power, I guess. So anyway.
I don't even remember, so I must have missed that part, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
I'll point it out when we get there.
Okay.
Because there's an explanation for why it goes away then.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at the cover. I love this cover, Michael.
Oh, this cover is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. This is so good. And it's drawn by Gil Kane, right?
Yep.
I mean,
do you know who inked it?
Who inked it? Oh boy.
It's Bill Everett. I don't know if you
nice.
look it up. Yeah, it's Bill Everett. But if you look down in the corner of the drawing, you see like a little signature.
Right.
And it's overlapping initials, the BE in the middle, and then
okay, now I see it. Yeah, I see it.
When I realized this, like, holy hell, I wonder how many covers they did, because I love this. And they only did a few covers together, and Bill Everett just improvised that signature on the first one they did, which I think was for the Avengers, maybe. And so I'm like, wow, this seems to be quite the collaboration. Like, they look awesome together, Kane and Everett. I just love the way Everett inked this, like the line work. It's tremendous. Oh. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait. But here, apparently, they didn't even really know each other.
Really?
And yeah, and they only worked on a handful of covers together, but they never met, or they didn't even really know each other.
It's crazy. So. It's just like Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott didn't even meet until like the 70s, I think. They did all those issues of Fantastic Four together. But anyway, yeah, this cover, like, so basically, let's just start at the top here. Amazing Adventures, Marvel Comics Group, number 11, 20 cents. Amazing Adventures, again, the actual title of the book, featuring the Beast, a big, awesome logo, the Beast. And then,
like, it's a real cool font on the Beast. It's like a furry font.
Right.
Almost like demonic from hell a bit, like you were saying.
You got it. Yep.
And it's like red, and then there's black, so it gives it like texture and depth. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's surrounded in yellow.
Right.
Oh, and there's a little beast head over to the left.
Well, that's what's funny is instead of a character box or bubble or circle, we've got just a head, which is unusual.
Yeah, floating head.
Yeah. But anyway, so the Beast is jumping down and like kicking one of these guards. But first of all, it's a great shot of the Beast. I mean, it's that Gil Kane perfect anatomy, but that Kirby power. Like you said, inking by Bill Everett is perfect. Like the line work is just great, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and like the way that these guards are getting hit and like falling back, and then there's another guard on the ground. And the other cool thing is that the horizon line is totally crooked, right?
Yes.
So it makes it feel even more action-packed. So they're actually falling almost off the page. It's great.
Yeah, it's tilted, so it's going up from the up to down.
Right. Left to
right.
Left is up, right is down. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and so it almost seems like they're falling downhill. And Beast is also leaping in, kicking the guy in the chest, and his arms are out, real action posy. And we should say that the image itself is like inside a box.
Yes.
So outside the box is all black, inside the box is yellow, and then like the Beast is extending beyond the box, and he's jumping in from left to right, and even the angle that he's entering the shot seems like he's jumping into the picture. It's so awesome.
Right, because both of his hands and head are popping out of the panel. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so it looks like he's leaping off from somewhere off the page into the page.
You're right, into the page. Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah,
so
this is excellent. And then we get inside and we get.
Did we say what the text is beneath the picture?
Oh, the text. Oh, lo, a beast is born. I love that. Pseudo-Shakespearean. It's great. I love that.
Lo, a beast is born.
Did I ever tell you the title of the Comic Book Syndicate theme song?
Lo, a syndicate is born.
No, it's lo, there shall come a costumed champion. I thought of it myself. Anyway. Okay, so now we dive into the book and we get a completely different art style by Tom Sutton, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, drastically different. The Beast. So yeah, we get this. This must have been a trend of the day, but we get second person narration of the Beast on top of this building, and he's watching like a night watchman, I guess, kind of like walking along. And the Beast is on top of this building looking at him. And the Beast on the cover is very, I guess, bestial, right? Like the Beast on the cover by Gil Kane is more humanoid, and the Beast on the inside is more, like a monster. Like really long arms and kind of crouched over and kind of grotesque, right?
Yeah, it looks more like what you'd see in a horror comic.
Right.
And keep that in mind, because we'll talk about that when... Well, I guess I could just say it right here. Tom Sutton did not like drawing superheroes.
Ah, interesting.
In fact, he called superheroes fascist. So I don't know what that means.
Interesting. Okay.
But he loved drawing horror, sci-fi, westerns, stuff like that. So
didn't he also do Star Trek? Or is that someone else?
Yes, he did.
All
yeah,
right.
he did.
I knew
We'll
it.
talk about that. Yep. But
so yeah.
Talk about the panel designs on this splash page, Michael, because it's very weird.
Yeah. So the main splash page or whatever is the Beast looking down over like this, this parking lot. He's on top of a building, but above that is the title, the Beast, but the Beast is curved. And then the panels above that follow the curve of the lettering so that they're curved around the logo, the Beast. And then that's all just little pictures of the night watchman walking towards you with the Beast above him. Then above that is it's like they use the corner of the page, the leftover corner, to create the first panel, which is just the Beast's face watching this guy. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Maybe it's like... maybe a good way to describe it is kind of like a dartboard, if you think about it. Like the splash page in the bottom right corner is kind of like the bullseye, and then there's rings around it. In a way.
Yes.
It's weird. I don't know if I like it, but
it's not great.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is you bring up the dartboard. I would have liked to have seen more symmetry with these panels because it's like the bottom of the panels are curved, but why couldn't they make the top of them also curved? Instead, they flatten them out.
Oh, that's a good point, Michael. Yeah. So it isn't. Yeah, like a dartboard, they'd be curved around, but yeah, it's a flat line at the top.
Right. It makes it kind of feel sloppy.
And anyway. One good detail in the background, we see that in the second panel of that row of panels, you see that the Beast is on top of the Brand Corporation.
Right.
And we find out that's where Beast works now as a chemist and a researcher.
Right.
Or Hank McCoy works. Yeah.
So this is, what do we call this? On medias res? This is in the middle of the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we get a couple silent panels, Beast jumping down, and we get some inner thought bubbles from the Night Watchman, but the Beast, is just getting the second person narration, and basically this guy's story doesn't really amount to much. But then the Beast ends up like kicking him in the face and knocking him over.
Yeah, because we know the security guard, he's trying to break into their genetic research
to
steal something. We don't know what really, but he's going to steal it and sell it to some, because they keep referring to him as the spy. The narrator keeps calling him the spy. But yeah, Beast, he kicks him with both feet. Boom.
Right.
Thud. Right in the face.
Yep. And again, already his color is kind of purplish, right? It's not even gray.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. Okay. Anyway.
And then he grabs the dude and throws him into like some machines. But then the dude grabs a gun and he shoots the Beast, Michael.
Yeah.
And this is that superpower I was talking about that we get. Like, I love that the shot where he actually shoots the Beast and the Beast has his hand up, knocking him away. That is classic Jack Kirby, right?
Right. Just absolutely. Yeah.
That's a classic Kirby panel. But yeah, this dude's just opening up on the Beast. He's shooting him like 5-6 times. Just keep shooting him. And the narration talks about the pain the Beast is feeling in his chest.
Right.
1,000,000 fires and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
But the Beast just keeps going.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Going.
Huh.
Because, Michael, at this point, the Beast has a healing factor.
Really?
A really rapid healing factor.
I thought Wolverine was the first one with a healing factor, but I guess I was wrong.
But a couple issues into this run on Amazing Adventures, he loses the healing factor because some guy, I want to say it's Quasimodo.
Okay.
Like, if you remember that dude. Like, he steals the healing factor, like, because he does some experiment on Beast where he, like, trying to sap his powers, and so Beast loses his healing factor, and then he doesn't have it after this. But good thing he has it here, or he'd be dead.
Exactly. Isn't that convenient?
So
he gets shot again, but he's okay. Then he kicks
the guy again. Yeah. So he's now kicked this guy twice and picked him up and threw him, and he can't KO him. What's going on, Beast? Right. It's just a dude, and you can't knock him out? What is going on?
And so then the Beast comments, he's like, outside, soldiers, they must have tracked the alarm. Then it wasn't necessary. So he kind of regrets going after this guy, maybe because he's been shot twice. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, maybe they would have had him, like, I didn't even have to bother. They would have had him anyway.
Right.
What was the point of all this?
Yeah, so then he kind of goes back into, like, this building. he's like, I'm safe now, safe and no harm done, other than being shot twice, but he's healed, so he's fine. So then, and this is kind of funny, outside, they show the guy shooting at the guards, but then the narrator's like, no harm done, perhaps not. Yet what about the fear-crazed spy? Would he have wildly attacked his captors? And would you now hear those staccato shots which tell you he's, and then cut to the speech bubble, dead! They killed him! Good Lord, I never intended. So they don't show it, it's just off panel, but yeah, he's dead.
Yep. So, but Beast sneaks back to his office. We find out, this is where he works now.
Right,
Corporation. He has his own office there. And we see his nameplate on the desk, Hank McCoy.
Yep.
And interesting note, though, Michael, look, the nameplate is facing him, which is weird. Like, it's facing where he would be sitting at his desk. So if he ever forgets his name, he can look down and see Hank McCoy.
Right. Yep.
It should be facing the other way.
Yep.
But apparently what happened, Miguel, is the Beast, he found out this guy, which they explain later, he finds out this guy's going to steal his formula or whatever, or something they're working on, and he wanted to stop him. And he didn't want to do it as Hank McCoy in his human form, but he had found a way to isolate what makes people mutants. And in this serum, and he's like, you know what I should do? Instead of wearing a mask,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Or maybe a crazy hat. What I'll do is I'll just drink this experimental potion and see what happens.
Ridiculous.
And so what happens is it turned him furry.
Yes.
But he figured as long as he's back within 1 hour, if he drinks the antidote within 1 hour, he'll be safe. And it will revert back to normal if he drinks the potion again. But he gets back to his office and he's late. He ran late. And the machine won't turn him back to normal. And he's stuck as Beast now. Furry Beast.
I love Gerry Conway, but we're going to have to talk about that particular plot logic later on, okay?
Yep. So he just starts flipping out and destroying his own office. Like, I'm stuck as a beast now. and he like shatters a picture of his old X-Men buddies. And that gets him to reminisce about how he left the X-Men, and we get flashbacks and stuff.
Yes. So then we flash back to the classic late 60s period of the X-Men when they no longer had their uniforms, right? They had their their graduation
their individual costumes.
Right.
Costumes.
Which, in this art does not look great, but I love these costumes. So I like this era. Like, I love Cyclops' gigantic big goggles, right? And Marvel Girls, I love that Marvel Girl costume with the mask, even though Tom Sutton doesn't really draw it well, but and then the Angel's got probably his best costume, the blue and white.
With the halo on his chest.
Right. I think that was designed by Neil Adams. I think that's his best costume. And then Iceman is just Iceman. So yeah, it's really cool.
But he looks like Iceman here, not like a snowman.
Right.
Remember, how'd you feel about him looking like a snowman for a while?
Oh, that was idiotic, yeah. I'm glad they changed him, yeah.
All right.
So basically we find out that the Beast has got a new job, right? And so everyone's saying goodbye to him, and he's leaving to go. Is he going to teach or to study genetics?
To study genetics, and his goal is to find out what makes people mutants.
Right.
And if he can isolate the genes or whatever. So, yeah.
So, yeah, he's going to the Brand Corporation. And of course, his first day on the job, it's this Jack Kirby sci-fi landscape of machines and levels and it's like a gigantic complex, right?
Yeah.
There's like guards everywhere, and then of course he meets this beautiful blonde on the first day.
Yeah, she looks foxy here.
Yep.
Good job by Tom Sutton drawing this.
You got it. Yep. And then he meets a sort of a jealous rival. What's his name? Professor.
Well, this guy's kind of like his boss in a way, right?
Right. Yes. And
but
he
says, "I got all the assistance I need. I don't need you, buddy." Yeah.
Yep. He's like, "Sir, yeah," because the Beast is supposed to be still like, I'm assuming like 18, 19 around here, and this guy's like older, right? So. But anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about their ages. I was thinking Beast. He looks to be in his mid-30s here.
Well, I mean, I know that in the time of the X-Men, he was like 18, 19, so I'm assuming he's still around that time, but who knows, right? Marvel time is all effed up.
Anyway. Maybe early 20s, 21.
Maybe, yeah. We'll say 21. Okay. So then, the first thing he does is he hooks up with the blonde. So
well, yeah, not in the modern sense.
I should clarify. In the 1972 sense, yes.
Yeah, like they start dating.
Right. I shouldn't say hook up.
I don't think he's getting it done or anything at this point. But
no.
But they show him going out to dinner and going out for moonlit drives near the beach, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Holding hands.
Yeah, like they actually are running on a beach. It's kind of cool.
Yes.
And like slow motion.
But here's the thing the problem I have with this angle is throughout this issue, even when he's human here, we get him feeling very self-conscious about his body.
Right.
And how he's built differently and his body. Like they even mentioned something like his mangled body beneath his clothes.
Yeah, they say that right here, right? He's self-conscious about it.
But Sutton draws him just like a normal dude. Like
and the thing is like as far as I know, the only thing unusual about him was he had gigantic hands and feet, right?
Yeah, which right away the ladies love because they're like, oh, I see.
Yeah. Right.
Big hands and big feet. But it's not like he's wearing like clown shoes or anything. He's wearing normal shoes.
Right.
His hands look normal sized. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's a miscommunication between artist and writer, but whatever. So he kisses...
I think it's just the guy, Sutton, drawing this has no concept of the beast. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right, because he doesn't like superheroes.
He does draw with big feet here, because then they show... so Hank McCoy's so happy he's dating this blonde girl now. He's on top of the world, Michael. So he gets in his little beast outfit, and he's jumping around his apartment and stuff. And here, Sutton gives him the big feet.
Yes.
You know?
But I guess... Yeah, it would have been nice for the girl to notice them or him to try and hide them or something, right? But yeah, you're right. They don't do that.
But then, when we see him in his work when he's in his work clothes at the office, like he has normal shoes, like they're normal.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess he just crams his big feet into the normal shoes. I don't know.
Right. Remember in the movie how they made him in First Class or one of those movies? They made his feet like almost like hands, like a monkey's feet. Remember? Yeah, that was gross. But anyway, this is better.
I just looked at Rose Byrne in that movie, and that was about all I cared about.
Oh, yeah. I love Rose Byrne.
I didn't care for those movies either.
Yeah. But anyway. So, yeah, he's leaping around. He's all happy. And then basically, now we cut over to the other, what's his name? Maddox, right?
Well, first we see, I guess, yeah, in a way they're cutting over. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, So basically, now Beast is being rude to Maddox because he's trying to get his work done, and this guy's like, "You'll regret that." He's like, I'll need absolute concentration, which means I'm afraid you'll have to leave. You'll regret that, McCoy. Right now, you're the number one brain boy here, but understand this, my friend. Carl Maddox still pulls the chords which make Grant dance. I'm assuming he means Grants, regardless of his current indiscretions. Oh, wait, is Grant a person? I missed that.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I thought he meant grants like university grants.
I read this a week ago. I can't even
remember. I read it an hour ago and I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does say Grant, so I'm guessing it might be the guy who owns the company maybe, or I don't know.
But anyway, so then we get back to that second person narration following Hank McCoy around, and he's discovered the exact hormonal extract that causes mutation. So this is actually a pretty big deal, even though they probably never go back to this again in any story. But yeah,
really, like he invented it once. Can he invent it again? Like, did he just forget or?
So anyway, so he's all excited. So then he's gonna go and tell whoever, right? But then he happens to pass by Grant's office. Here we go.
Yeah, I've got to find Mr. Grant. Yeah.
Right.
He has to tell Lou Grant.
There you go. He's like, Professor Maddox, I better not disturb him, or should I? He should have a right to know. Wait, what's he saying? You heard me, blasted. McCoy's onto something, I can feel it. Of course I'm sure. Don't play games with me, Agent 9. Who's this mysterious Agent 9, right?
Yeah, this is great.
We'll have to act immediately. I've contacted our man in security. Ooh, which ties back to the beginning, right?
Yep.
He'll be ready to move at 10:34. Hank McCoy usually leaves his lab by 10. You know that very well. Oh, there's some foreshadowing. I'll inform Ben that the operation is on. Meet me here at midnight.
They'll be ready to go at 10:34.
Yeah, I know. Ridiculous.
So McCoy usually leaves his lab at 10, so we'll give him a 34-minute cushion.
Yeah.
Why not just go at like 2 a.m.?
Right. So then... Here's where we get to the most illogical part of the story, right? So then Beast is like, hold on, what can I do? If I become the Beast... Now, when he says become the Beast, he means put on a red and blue costume with a mask. That's it.
Yes.
If I become the Beast, I'll just reveal myself. It's hard to hide a build like mine. As an X-Men, I could hide out at our school. Hank McCoy was unknown, but now... Couldn't he just put on like a ski mask and like someone would be like, hey, someone broke in that has big hands and big feet. First of all, they wouldn't even notice the big hands and the big feet, right?
Yeah, no one has mentioned it at all throughout the entire book.
Exactly. So that's kind of weak storytelling or weak motivation there. Yeah. Then he gets the idea, the chemical, it'll change me. And in an hour's time, I can change back again just by taking another drink as an antidote. Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Another drink? Why would another drink be an antidote? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
And also, how does he know how it will change him? That makes no sense, right?
Correct. None of this makes any sense.
This is basically like 1950s B-movie logic, which is fine, but that's what it is. Yeah. So he's like, don't know what will happen if you mutate a mutant, but I've got to take the chance. I've got to. So then he just drinks it. And of course, it turns him into the furry beast that we all know and love now. And yeah, so it makes him actually changes the shape of his body too, because the first thing that happens is it rips his clothes, right?
Yeah, he gets bigger. He's all muscle bound. And well, I guess he's muscle bound normally, but it seems like his legs get longer and his arms get even longer.
Right. So he starts leaping around, and now he's looking for that security guard, right? And basically that ties back to the beginning of the story.
Yeah. So we get a frame story here, and boom, here we're back at the beginning.
And now he's all upset because he missed the deadline of 12 o'clock, right? Was it 12? Yeah.
I don't know. What was it? I think it was an hour. It was an hour he had. So
okay.
If that guy was busting in at 10:34, maybe he took it.
Right, yeah. Who knows?
I don't know.
So then he's like, what was I trying to prove? Shut up, blast you, because it's ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Shut up. He smashes the clock. And then he smashes through the window and jumps outside. And now he's going to go after Maddox, right?
Yeah. His evil boss, who he heard on the phone talking about arranging the theft. And
then he uses his patented beast move using the double kick, right? The Captain Kirk smashing through the door. Thud. And then he starts beating up these guards. And if you look on original page 19, this is not quite Jack Kirby level, but I love the way he manages to punch 3 people at the same time. Or he punches 2 and kicks 1. You see that?
Yeah, but the beast is going crazy here. The womp sound effect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that funny. Is not how you fight. Whatever he's doing there.
That's what I mean. It's like it's not even like Kirby level like theatrics. It's just his arms are bent the same way, and it's just bad.
And we should mention these guards are good guys.
Right.
They were MPs, and they were already arresting Maddox because that spy had talked before he died, I guess. So they had come to arrest Maddox, and Beast shows up and beats all the good dudes.
right.
Beats because he wants to kill Maddox. Right. Because he's like he's like you said, he's feral now. He's like a wild beast.
Right.
They downplay this later on in this run. I guess once Englehart takes over, they downplay the ferocity of the beast and how like he's a beast, and they make him more witty and humorous in dealing with what happened to him. Like he's no longer so much mad about it, but just dealing with it.
Well, yeah, because there's a panel where he actually points out that he notices he's no longer. He's like, oh, you stopped talking in polysyllables. So the implication here is that he's actually getting dumber as well, right? But which they obviously drop very quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So he throws one of these guards against the wall, smashes through the wall, kicks another one. Then again,
and he gets shot again.
Then he gets shot again, and he's fine.
Yeah.
So then he once again throws another guard, kicks another one in the face. Then he almost chokes one to death. But then
that's Maddox. He's almost.
Oh, that's Maddox. That's Maddox. Right. Yeah. You only know one sensation. You know only one sensation will calm you now, the moment of the kill. But then he stops short. He's like, no, I've almost strangled him. And why? Because he did this to me? I know that's not true. And then he just smashes through the window and leaps out of the building. It's because I can't face the fact that I blew it and tried to wipe out my agony by crushing him. So then, what happens now? Twist. The next panel, we see an off-panel voice come in talking to Professor Maddox. I just received word. I am to replace you in your position. You! Please, Agent 9, it wasn't my fault. This monster. We know, Professor. Unfortunately, that's hardly an excuse for incompetence. And incompetence deserves only one reward. I'm sorry, Carl. Blam! Blam! I'll try to do better than you ever did. And it's the girl from earlier. What's her name? Veronica?
The smoking hot blonde.
Right, it's the smoking hot blonde.
The Beast has been dating.
Right. Yeah. She's evil. She's a femme fatale.
I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's great.
That was great. Yeah.
So then basically the Beast just leaps away into the night and we get some narration. And then it's like, perhaps you know what it truly means to be a man and that you are forever the Beast. Next, to kill an Avenger.
But look at next issue, Michael. To kill an Avenger.
Yep.
Look at that, foreshadowing that he would become an Avenger one day.
I don't think so. I think it's because he faces Iron Man. Yep.
But, so there it is, Amazing Adventures 11, first furry beast.
Yep.
Wow, that was interesting.
Again, some B-movie logic, but it was a solid read. I mean, it was entertaining and had that good twist, right?
Well, let's talk Gerry Conway. We've talked about him many times. He's the writer here. And he did Amazing Adventures issues 7, 9, 10, 11, 18, and 19.
Okay.
So this is the only one he did with the Beast. Man, the whole second person narration, like he addresses the Beast as you throughout the whole thing. You didn't realize this was going
right.
I do not like that at all. I guess it's very much, again, we got to remember this is 71, 72.
Right.
This is very much Silver Age kind of a take on things, right?
Sure,
you
yeah.
would say? And but I just do not like that style of writing, and
no,
it was brutal. And Beast making the just drinking that potion makes no sense.
No, that's just ridiculous. There's no logic there.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the alternative, Mike? How else could you get him? Just an accident in the lab?
Yeah, an accident, or there's the classic. Like, you remember the Hulk TV show, right?
Yeah.
Which was great, but the motivation David Banner had for irradiating himself with gamma rays is because he wanted to become stronger. So at least if the Beast was like it could have been the reverse. Maybe if the Beast would have said, "Oh, I want to get rid of my mutation," because he said that he knows the cause of mutation. So maybe if he took the potion to get rid of his mutation, but then it made it worse, that would have been cool, right?
Or if you just have the guard break into the lab and he's there and they get in a fight and the formula gets spills on him or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Something, but just not this.
Yeah. And I didn't even remember that David Banner did that to himself. So.
Yes. In this TV show, in the comic book, he was just testing a bomb, but that's why the TV show is better, I think.
Yeah. See, I didn't even remember that. So, all right. But I love the twist though of the girl being Agent 9 and killing Maddox. Right. So that was great.
Yep.
The conflict between Maddox and Beast. You need that conflict there between characters. So that was great.
Right.
A lot of good stuff, big picture plotting wise, but a lot of terrible stuff in terms of the narration and the formula and why he turns fuzzy.
Yes.
That was just awful.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, the artist here is Tom Sutton. Are you familiar with him at all, Michael? Because I was not.
Oh, just from Star Trek.
All right, he was born in North Adams, Massachusetts in 1937. Sadly, he passed away in 2002 at the age of 65.
Oh, okay.
And he was in the Air Force, and he drew comics for Stars and Stripes magazine.
Really?
And when he did a daily comic for him. And when he returned to civilian life, he attended the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston in 1960, and he studied there for 2.5 years. And then in 1967, he broke into the comics field by doing black and white horror comics for Warren Publishing.
Huh.
And as I mentioned earlier, he preferred doing horror, supernatural, western, and sci-fi stuff. He did not like superheroes. While he technically didn't create Vampirella, he was the first artist to draw her in her stories in Vampirella 1 through 5, and 7 through 12, 14, and Annual 1. And that was from 69 to 72. Huh. So have you ever read any Vampirella?
Scattered issues, but not those old ones, no.
I went back and looked at issue 1, and basically Vampirella, it's like a horror anthology. And the first story would be Vampirella centered, and then the others she would just like narrate them like that House of Mystery kind of stuff.
Sure, yep.
So he was the first artist to draw her in her own story, and like we said, he did the first 5, or well, I guess 11 of the first 12 issues of her. So he's kind of synonymous with Vampirella, the two of them. Also, Michael, in that first issue of Vampirella, one of the artists in one of the later stories, Neil Adams.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, do you have something about Vampirella?
I was going to say, I'm looking at his Vampirella art, and I definitely think he's more suited to horror, for sure.
Yeah, that's what he likes to draw. Although I should say it's kind of cartoony, that first one. Yeah, if you're looking at the first issue.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, his Star Trek stuff looks pretty rough, but I guess it just depends if he's into it or not. But yeah, he's not a favorite of mine, but I can see how he would be suited to other things more so than this.
I would say his art style is very Silver Agey.
Yeah, like definitely.
The characters look flat, kind of, and stiff, and but whatever. In 72, 73, he did issues 1 through 8 of Warlock. I was not aware of that.
Really? I didn't know that. Huh.
He did 8 issues of Planet of the Apes from 75 to 77. He did 7 issues of Doctor Strange from 78 to 79. Again, he would like Doctor Strange because it was like mystical stuff, not technically a superhero.
Right.
He did 50 issues of Star Trek for DC.
Wow.
From 1984 to 88. So that's really his main claim to fame as his longest run on anything is Star Trek in the 80s. And Michael, in 93, 94, he did Animal Man issue 60, 71, and annual number 1.
Get out of town. Really?
Now, I'm confused. I don't know. Like, they had that listed under his credits, but they also had X-Men 106 under his credits. And I'm like, what? I don't remember this. So I looked up X-Men 106, and he was just the inker on it. So I don't know if they're crediting him as an...
Oh, yeah. He's probably just inking then.
Yeah, because I would have assumed you would have remembered him from Animal Man, but...
yeah, I'm looking up Tom Sutton Animal Man. I don't see anything, but yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so maybe he was just the inker there. But he was one of the artists who worked on Batman issue 400 in 1986.
Oh, really? Okay. Huh.
So was that like some big celebration of Batman?
Yeah, Batman 400. I think it was like every chapter was a different artist. So it was like a whole bunch, it was great.
Yeah, so that's the Tom Sutton. Yeah, like I said, very Silver Agey.
Right.
That's the best way to describe it, I guess.
Also, I would say there's like a Mad Magazine influence to me. I mean, there's a specific artist. I can't remember his name, but it very much looks like that classic Mad Magazine artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I think Mad Magazine, I usually think of like caricature kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it kind of has a vague, almost caricature feel. Like not this stuff, but if you look at his Vampirella stuff, definitely.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about this Beast issue in particular.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like really comics from the 50s, 40s, and 50s. Well, not so much the 40s, but 50s, early 60s. That kind of style of art is what you're going to get here.
Right.
So
it's not great.
I wasn't a fan.
No,
I wasn't a fan.
And the thing is like, again, he's probably more suited to horror because he's kind of like shadowy and all that. But you could see that whenever he drew action, he just wasn't good at it, right? Like the Beast fighting looked terrible. But like, the opening shot of the Beast, like the fur and everything, that looks pretty good. So he's probably better suited to drawing like monsters, right? But just not action.
Because in that first splash page, the Beast kind of looks like Werewolf by Night, like a werewolf.
Right. Totally.
And
he's, like he's decent. And his characters, they look, this is like a weird word, but horrific. Like it looks like he's emphasizing the shadows and the ugliness of the people. So it's suited for horror, right? It's not suited for superheroes, like the way John Romita would be or something.
Except that Agent 9. He drew that blonde very attractive.
Yes, that's true. That's
so
true.
Like,
Let's not forget Agent 9. Yeah.
Yeah. What else was I going to say about this? Shoot, I had something else. But yeah, like you mentioned, the action's very stiff and the characters are flat. The panel designs are weird too. We mentioned there's a lot. It's more than just that first page. He does a lot of stuff with panels that kind of work, kind of don't. I don't know. I don't really like crazy panel designs. I kind of like just traditional panel designs
Me
myself.
too. Me too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean, when Neil Adams did it, he did it well, but most artists, when they do it, they don't do it well.
Yeah, it just gets in the way of the story. Like, if it distracts you from the story, it's not good.
I agree. It's just at the end of the day, it's just more straightforward and clear to just be, classic ABC.
Yeah, if you're noticing the panel design, that's bad. And,
right.
So I noticed it a lot in this issue. But I think the storytelling from panel to panel is strong. Like, because it's...
Yeah,
But yeah, not so good otherwise. So I don't know. All right, anything else you want to say about this beast, Michael?
I don't know. I mean, I can only say that, I waited many, many a year to read these, and I actually read the whole run, and they did not live up to the, I don't want to say, they don't have a reputation as being great, but they weren't as good as I hoped they would be. Even the ones by Steve Englehart, they were not great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this was not that great. The cover is spectacular, though.
Yep. For sure.
So definitely go look at the cover if you get the chance.
Yes.
Gil Kane and Bill Everett doing top-notch stuff.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably give it a 5.
Yep, me too. 5, absolutely a 5. Yeah, because it's like it's not terrible, but it's not great. That's for sure.
Like, if Tom Sutton did the cover, this is getting a 3 or probably. Or 4,
right.
But Gil Kane doing that cover, it's tremendous.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go. All right, so next week, Michael,
Woo!
I believe our buddy Bob, known to the world at large as Pork Carrot, will be joining us.
Okay.
And I picked a good one. This is one of the books I bought as a kid when I was a young child. We're going to the early 80s, 1983. And I'll give you a hint, Michael. It's based on a movie.
Based on a movie? Is it Indiana Jones?
That's correct. The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones.
Come on! How did I guess that?
Issue 11.
Wow.
Issue 11.
Why'd you pick number 11?
Because this was one my dad purchased for me. I remember he actually called me from the store. Like, there's a little store I went to buy my comic books. And he called me, and this was pre-cell phone days, so he actually had to use, like, the phone at the place. And he was a police officer, so he knew the people and stuff. So I guess he used their phone to call. And he said, hey, do you have this one? And I said, no. So he bought it for me and brought it home.
Wow.
My dad was awesome. So,
that's cool.
That's why we're doing this one. And the writer here is David Michelinie.
Of course.
I said that correct, right? David
Michelinie? Yeah. That's great.
And the artist is Carrie Gamble.
Whoa, really?
And the art here is very good. So we'll talk about that next week.
Sure.
But, have you looked at the cover yet, Michael?
I just did. Yep.
The cover's spectacular.
Let me see here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good cover. Solid cover. I actually had no idea this series lasted 34 issues. I thought it was more like 5 issues,
Well, they did a limited series, I think. Or no.
They did. I think they did Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, and then they did this.
Yeah, and I had the Raiders, and I had, of these 34 issues, I probably had a good 20 or so of them.
Wow.
But I don't have them anymore. I don't know what happened to them.
Huh, interesting. All right. That's fun. I just rewatched the movies, so we can talk about the movies as well, I'm assuming.
All right.
Yeah.
So there we go. Indiana Jones next week.
Awesome. Can't wait. Okay, so check us out every week. We do a different Bronze Age comic every week. You never know what you're going to get because we surprise even each other, as you saw just now, right? So you can find Flea Market Fantasy on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, all under Comic Book Syndicate. Also on the Comic Book Syndicate Twitter page, the Facebook page, our YouTube channel, as well as the Comic Book Syndicate website. So until next Tuesday, disperse!